Welcome everyone, Rick Gilmore here, founder of Good Company Coaching and creator of the Relevant Not Redundant Roadmap. Now, if you've ever felt that your best days are behind you and you're missing out on the big opportunities and everybody else is doing better than you, then this session is for you. Now, it probably won't surprise you to hear that nowadays, most of us are spending up to nearly 2 hours a day on social media, and many of us without even noticing it. And you also probably won't be surprised to hear that when you do that, it's easy to come down with a dose of compare yourself to others-itis. And when that happens, that's when you might find it hard to shake that sinking feeling that everybody else has got their act together while you're still trying to work it all out. Now for sure, with the emergence of social media and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and co, it's never been easier to create a carefully curated, polished and perfumed personal propaganda machine, yeah? It's never been easier to show up always a winner, looking good, going somewhere. Yet in stark contrast, it's also never been easier to show up feeling that you're always a loser, looking bad and going nowhere. You see, this is now becoming such a common and damaging identity mistake that it's no wonder that so many of us are feeling overlooked, bewildered and left behind. The alarming reality is that a lot of people don't inspect just how damaging this compare yourself to others-itis actually is. Now don't get me wrong, especially given my background, I'm definitely not saying there's not a time to model best practice and learn and study from the best of the best, or turn to a master or your peer group, pals, or a coach for your advantage. No, I'm definitely not saying that. But I am saying, stop trying to keep up with other people's legend in their lunch hour version of their lives and work. Because you see, the thing is that behind closed doors, their backstage is likely just as difficult or hard or problematic or chaotic as you imagine yours to be. So let me be blunt. Don't let comparing yourself to others rob you of your relevance. So what do I do then to cure myself of this curse of comparisons, I hear you ask? So today I'm going to share with you something which is known as AAWI. And why it's so crucial for you to know about it is because without AAWI, it's almost not possible to sidestep compare yourself to others-itis. So what is AAWI and how does it relate to you? So let me spell it out for you. AAWI stands for always, already, worth it. Because you see, the thing is, you've got to believe you're worth it first. Because you see, the thing is, if you believe you're not worth it, you will not do what it takes to stretch yourself and show up worth it. Because you see, the other thing is, when you believe you're not worth it, it's so easy to fall prey to all the envy and insecurity and get crushed by the game of comparisons. And that's when you might find yourself thinking thoughts like, I'm too old, or I'm too young, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not cool enough, or I'm not smart enough. And all the variations of I'm not worth it start gaining momentum and flooding in. And before you know it, you find yourself believing you're yesterday's hero or you're beaten before you start. Yet, when you're always already worth it, the opposite is also true. Because that's when you start believing in a bigger vision of yourself and a better version of yourself starts to kick in. And that's when you won't wince and cringe as much. And it becomes a lot more difficult for all the negative comparison and negative self-talk stuff to stick. Now I know I'm on my high horse here and a bit on my soapbox, but my advice is, the next time you find yourself stuck in a comparison moment that seems to go on and on and on, And that might be whether you're stewing over someone stealing your thunder or your big important idea in a meeting, or you're stewing over, for example, someone's post getting more shares or comments or likes than yours did, or you're stewing over someone scoring your dream job. Whatever it is you're stewing over, my advice simply is, just stop in that moment and imagine that you're a movie director making a movie called AAWI. Yes, that's right. Always, already, worth it. And then just simply say cut to all the negative comparison stuff and all the things you do that keep you coming up short and second guessing yourself and believing in a lesser version of yourself. And then say lights, camera, action, and tune into AAWI and tune into always, already, worth it. And then simply take a big breath in and take a big sigh of relief that you no longer have to believe that everybody else is doing better than you are anymore. And then get to work working on your worth. Right, good job. In our next session, we're going to move on to one of my favourites, which is how to fan your fame and fuel your X Factor. So until then, wield your wisdom, work your worth, and be who you're meant to become.